Hello from Myrtle Beach. Today we are going to answer the question, should you visit Myrtle Beach in the spring? Is it the best time of the year to come? What are the pros and cons? We're going to answer all of that for you so that you can plan your Myrtle Beach family vacation. Hi, I'm Carmen. If you're new here, we cover everything Myrtle Beach and the surrounding area. And if you're a return viewer, welcome back. We are so glad to have you with us. So we're in a beautiful day. We've got this beautiful backdrop to talk to you about what it is like to be in Myrtle Beach in the spring, if it's the best time of the year to come, what you can expect for crowds and other things. So let's start out with what everybody always asks about is the weather. We're not going to go into huge detail about the weather because we have a video that focuses exclusively on the weather in the spring, and I will link that in the description above. But the weather varies. You can see we've got people in shorts and no sleeves. I've got shorts and no sleeves, but then we've got other people with jackets and pants. It depends on your cold tolerance. It depends on, how sunny it is, how windy it is. It's a little breezy today, but it's very warm. It's in the 70s. And so what I would say is for March and April, the weather is going to be a little bit cooler and you might need a jacket. You may have some very warm days. It just depends. And also bring layers, bring a jacket, bring a sweatshirt, that kind of thing. In May, things start warming up, but you can have freakishly cool days in May as well. So just come prepared. We always get the question, when will the ocean be warm enough for me to swim? That's a hard answer because it depends on how cold tolerant you are. The best advice I have is to Google online for what the water temperature is before your trip, and you'll have a good idea. But generally speaking, it's about mid-May. But last year we had a really cool spring, and I personally would not have gotten in the water in mid-May last year. So that's what I mean. It depends on your cold tolerance. I would definitely say usually by Memorial Day weekend, as long as it's not like a rainy weekend or something like that, it's probably going to be warm enough to swim in the ocean. But like I said, rule of thumb is mid-May. Now we have people that come, in early March, from Canada and other northern locations, and they'll jump in the water then. So that's what I mean. It depends on what your tolerance is. But yeah, for most people, the water is still too cool in the early spring and finally warms up in the later spring. That just sort of goes with the temperatures, the outside temperatures and the water temperatures. And that's another thing. Even once the water temperature warms up, if it's really cool outside, it can still be unpleasant to swim because you have to get out of the water at some point. So if you want guaranteed warm enough to swim, I would say most of the time Memorial Day through probably the end of September is about when the safest zone would be, so to speak. But last Memorial Day, it was cool and rainy the whole weekend, so you never know. Weather is a volatile thing. So I know another big question we get is, what are crowds like? Again, almost like the weather, it varies a lot, but there are specific things you can look out for that come with crowds. Spring break, which that varies, of course, with different school systems. We do not get a huge crowd for the college spring break at all. They tend to go to warmer climates like Daytona Beach, a little further south where it's warm, because college spring breaks are pretty early in the season. And so we don't get a ton of college people, but we do get quite a bit of families with their children that are in school-age children. They bring the kids here for a wonderful beach vacation. The concentration of schools that have spring break, it's usually the week before or the week after Easter, and Easter moves every year. This year, Easter is at the end of March, and so we will actually have some spring break crowds in March, which is unusual. But also the first week of April will be pretty busy. So those are the times where the hotel rates will be higher because the hotel rates go along with the crowds, and it's also when there'll be the most people here. However, spring break crowds are nothing like summer crowds. And so I wouldn't let that keep you from coming if you're interested in coming. Just expect that there will be more traffic, more people. Definitely if you're doing family-friendly activities with your kids, those activities might be more crowded as well because there are more families with kids here. But otherwise, it's not bad. It's not, like I said, I would not let that keep you from coming. As we continue covering Myrtle Beach in the spring, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to learn more about Myrtle Beach, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss anything new. Two other things that bring crowds during the springtime that you might want to keep in mind, and there's a lot of other events besides the ones I'm mentioning here. If you'd like to hear a detail about all the events for a particular month in the spring, we are doing a series of videos of that. The one for March is already out. I will link that in the description below. We go over every event, every major event, I should say, that's coming in that month. And we will continue to do that going forward. So stay tuned for May and April. They will be coming up. But two big things you need to know about crowds is the Spring Bike Rally. That bike rally is in the second week of May traditionally. This year, I believe the dates are the 10th through the 19th, but you can Google that. That's of May. And you can Google it just to double check me. And then we also have the Atlantic Beach Bike Festival. Atlantic Beach is ever so slightly north of Myrtle Beach, but so many people come for that bike festival. It's Memorial Day weekend that they spill into Myrtle Beach. It makes the traffic quite heavy because we've already, Memorial Day weekend is one of the most popular weekends here at Myrtle Beach. And so you've got the regular Memorial Day weekend beach crowds. You've got the bike festival. It runs the 24th through the 27th this year. But a lot of people stay either the week before or the week after that and make a week out of it. So there are a lot of people and a lot of motorcycles. I will say the spring bike rally that I mentioned previously, that one is actually concentrated more in Murrells Inlet and Surfside, so it has less of an impact on Myrtle Beach proper. But if you are staying south, like I said, in Surfside, Garden City, that area, you will see more of the motorcycles and more of the crowds. So those are the main things to keep in mind as crowd points in the spring. Otherwise, if you're away from those, so pretty much the month of May is crowded-ish and around spring break. And if you're not around those dates, you'll have better hotel and resort rates, and you will also have less people. One exciting thing about coming in the spring, though, it is the first chance you get to start getting some of those really warmer days. We get warmer days in the winter, but they're pretty few and far between. In the spring, you're going to start getting more consistent warm days. Also, there are some things that are really great to do here in the spring that you may or may not know about. One is Brook Green Gardens. It is a definitely family-friendly area in Murrells Inlet, just south of Myrtle Beach. But they have these amazing botanical gardens. In the spring, I would say, is when they're at their height, when everything's blooming. Not necessarily in early March, but if you get into April, just beautiful and amazing. And what a lot of people don't know is they have a small zoo. It's called their Low Country Zoo. And so that's something for all ages, of course, to enjoy. So it's not just a botanical garden. There are a lot of art exhibits. They have a lot going on there. So that's a fun thing to do in the spring just because the flowers are so incredible. And other fun things about the spring, almost everything is open back up that closed for the off season. It might not be till April till all the amusement rides are open. So like amusement parks, definitely check their calendars. Like Family Kingdom has their calendar online. You can check it online. But once you get well into April, almost everything is open. Also, if something new is coming to Myrtle Beach, a good example this year is Pop Stroke, which is a new putt-putt or mini golf. Those usually open before they usually try to open them before spring break. So if you come in the spring, you may get to try something brand new that a lot of people haven't done yet. So that's another good reason to come in the spring. If you'd like more information about Myrtle Beach and planning your family vacation here, be sure to click on the video on your screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.